Hello MTG friends and welcome to another episode of Sephiroth Gaming. In this episode we will complete Theros Beyond Death set on Magic the Gathering Arena. We will use the same math and equations that I presented in the previous video and that you can apply for your own sets and collections. Now, as you can see here, we have accumulated over 130 packs that we will open in a few minutes, and I've acquired these packs mainly through sealed events. So unlike the previous video in which we completed the Throne of Eldraine set mainly through several dozens drafts, here we will complete Theros Beyond Death or THB mainly through sealed. Before opening the packs, let's go through the previous simple math and some simple equations that you can use to complete the set, and that we will use to get some predictions for completing Theros Beyond Death. So one key thing is the duplicate protection that we only have on MTG Arena, while on paper we can exceed 4 copies of each card. On MTG Arena we cannot exceed 4 copies. So this is fantastic because we need for a full set completion 4x of each copy of a rare or a mythic. So the main equation again is this one, which gives you the missing number of rares and the number of packs that we needed to open over here. So total number of rares is 53 times, of course, 4. The current number of rares is 178, at least for my case and THB set. Then we have this term. The first one is, of course, related to the probability to open a rare. Plus, we have the extra reward, mythic or rare card reward, that for the rare is 1 out of 6 after 6 packs, and for the mythic we have 1 extra mythic after 18 packs. Okay, but the probability, basic probability to get a rare is roughly 84%, because we almost always get a rare unless we open a mythic 1 out of 8 times, and we also have a small probability, an extra probability to get a mythic 1 out of 30 packs. Now plugging in some number, you can see here 53 times 4, total number of rares, minus 178 is the current number of rares, 131 the number of packs that we will open in a minute, and what happens is that we get negative 98 rares. So this means that opening 131 packs with a current number of rares well exceed the set completion, and we expect this because indeed what we want is to complete the full set of mythics, and fortunately due to the duplicate protection, the extra rares, they all go as gems. We get 20 gems back after each duplicate rare, and 40 gems for duplicate mythics. So we might spend these for extra packs if needed. Now for the mythics, there is the same equation over here, okay, but this time you need to update the probability to get a mythic. Again, as I said, 16%, roughly 1 over 8 packs with the extra 130. Over here, after 18 packs we get an extra mythic, so that we can add. And plugging in these numbers, so the total number of mythics in terms of 4x is 60 for Theros Beyond Death. And by using the reward we get -3. So it means that we will fully complete the set by using our mythic wildcards. Instead, if we don't use any wildcards, we are above threshold. So we expect roughly 4 or 5 extra mythic, but we might get lucky, so we can complete without any wildcard, or we might get quite unlucky and spend up to even dozen more wildcards. Okay, remember that all these are probabilities, so only on average we expect this number of rares and mythics. But we also have, so to speak, an extra protection in terms of this vault you accumulate 1 volt after 1000 points. So each duplicate common gives you 1 point, and each uncommon gives you 3 points. So we expect after opening 131 packs to have 1.5 extra volt, right? So another 1.5 extra mythic and 3 other rare wildcards if we want to spend them, and we are missing some mythic, as I said, in the end. Now this last part I will go through in the last part of the video, but to anticipate this, I've accumulated these mythic and packs through mainly sealed events, and sealed events are a fantastic way to complete your set very rapidly, essentially within a month from the release, since each event gives you on average effectively 9 packs. Okay, so after 25 sealed, you can expect to complete your collection, in particular by using, of course, wildcards. This is MTGArena.pro tool, a fantastic tool to keep track of your collections, progresses, win-loss rates, matches, and so on and so forth. So highly recommended to use. So here in this screenshot, you can see a recap of what I said in the previous table with numbers, and this is the full Theros Beyond Death downbreak with all the colors, of course, that we already have. So notice that essentially these, since we have doing a lot of sealed, like 20 plus sealed, you already have almost I would say 95%, 94% full collection. Okay, so it means that you are guaranteed, of course, to have all the commons over here, almost all the uncommons except 2, and the number of rares here is 84%. So as I said, we have already 178 rares, while the really tough part and the thing that I wanted to show you in this video is to achieve the full set of mythics, so 60 mythics, and we have currently only, so to speak, 35 mythics. Okay, so notice that I'm referring to the full set in terms of what you can find in, of course, common boosters, and I'm not talking about the different cards that you find only in constructed decks that you need to buy separately. Another thing that I wanted to show you maybe here is the number of rares and mythics. You can see here which mythic is missing from Elspeth to Ashiok, so all the planeswalkers. We have already accumulated some numbers here. We are missing some 4x of other interesting rares over here, and a few uncommons that you can see here. So we will go back to this table and see later on if we need to use some wildcards or even the vault to complete the last few mythics. As I said, the rares will be done fairly easily in a couple of dozens boosters openings. We are ready, and let's open some packs and see what we get immediately, and if we can comment on a couple of rares and meetings moving on. Here we go. Okay, as I said, this is a set of 10, so we expect 1 out of 8 mythics. We only get 1 mythic wildcard, so a little bit below average, while we get all the different missing rares that we need. Archon of Sun's Grace, fantastic card in UV. Let's move on to another set of 10. Shadow Spear, also fantastic sideboard card, in particular against, for instance, mono red. Added Kraken played a lot in limited, and this is really excellent card. So overall, good cards to get. Notice here So the vault here was initially roughly below 180%. The number of current wildcards is as follows: 115 commons, 139 uncommon, 8 rares, 22 mythic rares. So this will increase, of course, while opening the cards, as I said. And this one is giving us this extra boost in the number of mythic rare wildcards and rare wildcards. Okay. Let's open other 10. Okay, so notice the vault went up roughly 10%, and again, every pack goes up, as you can see here currently, since we have already many commons and uncommons, essentially all of them, up to 1% per pack. Here you can see also the increase with the number of mythic wildcards and number of rare wildcards. Here you can see the rare wildcard increase, right? As I said, after 6 packs you get an extra wildcard. Okay, again, only 1 mythic here. We are slightly below average again, but I guess with the large numbers we will get more mythics later on. Again, Theros Beyond that has been a fantastic set, especially for standard, but also for limited, with great cards. I can see here Stetson Champion using all these aura decks, Clotis starting to be used in Gruul decks, and many interesting sideboard cards, and of course all the Temple set of lands used in many standard decks with the Scry ability. Is fantastic turn 1 land. Okay, let's open some other packs. We are of course missing rares here, so once we complete all the rares we will get 20 gems instead of each rare, or 40 gems instead of each mythic, but only once we hit the full 4x set of each rare and mythic. So these are the 10 packs. We, as I said, getting a little bit above average with Calyx. Interesting Planeswalker, not used much, but I expect more use in the future with this very interesting ability for enchantments, and even some sort of removal attached to your enchantments. Another wild card. Against a Tessan Champion. Atris also used in this Sultai standard decks. So very interesting card, giving you essentially extra card advantage, sort of Factor Fiction, a little bit less effective, but definitely very good addition for all the blue-black decks. So here we have 12 rare wildcards, 24 mythic rare wildcards. Let's open other 10 packs. Okay, another mythic, a little bit below average, and still completing all the other set of rares that I haven't opened throughout all the seeded events. Let's open other 10 packs. Okay, so as you can see here, we reached the point already with roughly 85 packs or so. The full set of rares, this one the last rare missing, Temple of Abandon. Again, great lands that are played in essentially every standard deck. Also we get one extra mythic Elspeth, also fantastic card to use in particular decks, like all these hordes of decks with Doom Foretold. You get a lot of tokens, and you can sack the tokens with Rankle or other sacking abilities. And as you can see here, all the duplicate rares gives us these 20 extra gems. So I haven't talked about this in the previous equations, but there was one entry point that I was predicting roughly to get at least around 2000 gems for this extra duplicate protection. And so this is really, I want to remark, a fantastic feature of MTG Arena that is really unparalleled compared with the real paper version. So in paper version you could get many duplicates well above the 4x, while on MTG Arena you not only are prevented to get these duplicates, but you get back gems. So I think the MTG Arena theme has done a great job to really incentivize people in any case to draft more, to get more sealed, so you can get back value from your duplicates beyond the 4x copies. Okay, in terms of vault, we are at 220%, so in principle we could use later on for at least the mythics, not the rares. As we said, we have just completed the full set of rares, but for the mythics we might use 2 extra mythics for now, although we don't need this because I had accumulated already a few dozen mythic wildcards before. Okay, let's open another 10 packs and see if we can accumulate and complete the mythics, but it will require many more packs. Okay, one extra mythic wildcard. We would like to see fantastic would be, of course, between 2 and 3. More than that would be statistically very difficult, but sometimes maybe 4. So let's see what happens in the other 10 packs. Okay, one other mythic. We are beyond the midpoint of our collection. So let's see where we stand in terms of number of missing mythics. Okay, as you can see here, we have completed all the rares and we are only missing some mythics. In particular, Ashok, we are missing 3x and a few more for each other mythic, and this is about 20 mythics. Yes, 20 mythics to complete. So we have 61, and hopefully we can complete the set already with the boosters. Otherwise we will spend the last few wildcards as expected. We have seen right previously. Again, remind you that on average you get 1 mythic out of 8 packs. Okay, so you can get more or less, so it's not an exact 100% prediction the number of packs that you need to open. Again, slightly below average here with Clothes. Let's open another 10 packs. Another wild card. Over here we are accumulating all the mythic rares. Vault is at 260%. Let's open the other 10 packs down to 31. Okay, another mythic. Again, slightly below average here. Let's open other 10. Okay, here instead we are above average. Okay, 3 mythic is fantastic to see. Again, all these gods are very interesting. Purphoros, probably the worst. Erebos not much used, while Heliod fantastic in mono white life. And here an extra mythic wildcard. Bolt to 181% and 30 mythic to use. Let's open the last 20 packs. Okay, unfortunately no mythic here. Let's open the last 11 packs. And we get 2 mythics, Yox, and another wild card. And so let's open the last pack. Will we get a mythic in the last one? No. Extra 20 gems. Okay, as you can see here, after opening 131 packs, we are actually missing a dozen mythics. So we have been substantially below average in getting our mythics. Unlike the previous video where we have been more fortunate, so we were above average for Throne Over Drain. Of course, this happens because opening mythics again is 1 out of 8 in terms of probabilities, but this is of course not guaranteed. So not a problem. We go back to our collection and we will now craft by using our wildcards over here the remaining mythics. Okay. Notice that we have now 150 common, 187 uncommon wildcards, 29 rare wildcards, and 31 mythic rare wildcards. Okay. We also have accumulated 300% vault. So we started around below 200. As I said, we expected indeed 1.4 or something. So, and we got around that number. We also accumulated almost 1600 gems around our prediction too. And so now we will use these dozen mythic wildcards to fully complete our Theros Beyond Death collection. Again, remind in terms of boostable mythics and rares. Okay. So let's see what's remaining. So Kiora, Best the Sea God, incredible broken card in limited, and especially in sealed. I have won and lost essentially almost all the time once played this card. So let's craft the remaining 2 Kiora. 1, 2. So Erebos, we are missing 1. We are also missing Ox, just 1. Purforce, missing 1. This is the extended art through the recent event. Ashiok, we are missing 3. Okay. Croxa, missing 2. Then Polukranos, we are missing other 2. Excellent card also in limited. You can essentially almost wipe the board of small creature and then bring it back with the escape mechanic. What we are missing? Clotis, 1 more. Calyx, 1. And Uro. Okay. So let's see if we have completed the set now. And going back to mtgarena.pro, you can see here that all the numbers are 100% for each color, and in particular it is the key number 100% for each unique card and 100% for the full set of Theros Beyond Death, including 4 copies of each rare and mythic card. You can see here we have all the commons, 404 commons, 320 uncommons as 4x, 212 rares, and finally 60 mythics. Okay. Also interesting thing is that the current paper value is around $800. I'll go in a moment how much we spend in terms of sealed, far less fraction than this. So MTG Arena is a great way to complete your set in Magic the Gathering is a very cheap way, incredible. After 20 years of Magic, this is incredible that you can spend essentially less than $100 and get a 4x set, playable, of course, only online. Let me go through the entire collection here. You see all the dots are 4x. And I show you briefly white. And we go into blue, over here. Then black, all 4x. Over here to red. Green. All the multicolor cards. Lands. And artifacts. Okay, so we have completed a full set of Theros Beyond Death. We used a little bit more wildcards than expected, but again, this is because we were a little bit unlucky in the openings of each pack on average. Now, before closing, I wanted to touch briefly on this last part, which is the number of sealed events that you need to do in order on average to complete each set. See the previous video for the completion of a set through drafts, which is much slower. So in fact, through sealed, you get, of course, your 6 packs that you use for your deck, plus 3 other extra packs to effectively have 9 packs for each event. Okay. So, and in addition, if you have a good win-loss percentage, you get back a significant amount of gems as a reward. So in my case, 60%, you get back 1,400 gems, and the cost of entry for a sealed event is 2,000 gems. Okay, so you get most of your entry price back. So about 200 gems equal $1. And so I've done over 25 sealed events, and so this means that I spent only roughly $75 plus the mastery, so well below the $100 regime. And notice that if you wanted to do the same for paper Magic, you would spend roughly 1K just to do this number of sealeds, and of course each event would be much slower. Okay. Now, in order to complete the full set of rares, how many sealed you need? Roughly again 27. If you want to complete the mythic set, almost 200, but this is not considering all the extra rewards and the extra wildcards that you can use throughout the process and the above equations. Okay, that's all for today, and I'll see you in the next video.